Go ahead, J.J. Abrams. Say it. I dare you. Holy shit, I can't believe he just said it.
Why did you say that name?
What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and wow, J.J. Abrams has done a couple interviews. Kathleen Kennedy did a couple interviews last week. Ryan Johnson, Colin Trevorrow, a bunch of people, right? And I did not expect this one to drop with Esquire. Now, there's a lot of things in this interview that J.J. Abrams sat down and did that are important to talk about, but the one thing that caught everybody's eye was that he actually named the Fandom Menace. Now, we've been hearing that the Fandom Menace is irrelevant, that no one cares about it, no one at Lucasfilm knows. Not only do people at Lucasfilm know what the Fandom Menace is, J.J. freaking Abrams, the director of The Force Awakens and the director of The Rise of Skywalker, knows. Pulled it right off the top of his head. He knows what the Fandom Menace is. That, in and of itself, is an enormous BTFO to all these people out here that say that Phantom Menace is not relevant at all. Now, the way that this was brought up is completely disingenuous, and I have a really big issue with the person conducting this interview, and I think it's important to put that in place before we see how J.J. Abrams actually answered these questions. Now, you saw in the clip, in the intro, the part where he actually names this. But, let's see. Let's take a look at who wrote this. Now, we'll pull it up. J.J. Abrams opens up about finishing Rise of Skywalker and what he really thinks of Baby Yoda. The director discusses the culture of Star Wars, toxic fandom, and the years-long build-up to showing the Knights of Ren in action. Now, this is written by Matt Miller, right here. Now, Matt Miller, if you don't know, also wrote this. He wrote this almost a year ago. The year Star Wars fans finally ruined Star Wars. In 2018, a loud movement of racist, misogynistic trolls derailed the beloved family sci-fi franchise. Yeah, it couldn't have been Ryan Johnson that derailed it, Couldn't have been J.J. Abrams that gave us an empty shell of The Force Awakens in 2015. Couldn't have been the fact that Disney and Lucasfilm disrespected a lot of the hardcore fandom in 2014 where they said, F the expanded universe, we're going to do our own thing for creative freedoms. Couldn't have been any of that. It had to be, in 2018, the racist misogynists, right? Now, there's a lot about this article that's just absolute garbage that, we're not going to talk about because so much of it is just that, garbage. Now, right here, Star Wars and a loud section of Star Wars fans have tragically become synonymous with hate, bigotry, and pervasive assholeness in 2018. From various sinister online campaigns to racist and misogynistic attacks on actors to bafflingly stupid takes and interpretations of the film, TLJ inspired the worst impulses of a far-right movement that's taking hold of the internet and extending its influence into the real world. Now, that right there. Racist, misogynistic attacks on actors, far-right movement. As someone who is a part of the Fandom Menace, and if you're watching this video, it's likely that I don't even need to be talking to you because you understand this, but the Fandom Menace is one of the most incredible communities that I've ever been able to be a part of. The Fandom Menace is just a hashtag, right? But it's built around something. There's a community of people who just don't want the same things. A little bit of respect. Respect, whether it's for the fans, whether it's for the product, but respect. Without respect, we reject. And I interact with people every day of all different backgrounds, all different belief systems, all different sexualities, all different genders or how they identify. And you know what? That doesn't matter. We're together because we have a shared passion for these things. And to say that, he'll say it later in his article, that we don't love Star Wars, and J.J. Abrams talks about this too, that we don't love Star Wars. You are absolutely out of your freaking minds. This article that he wrote last year is one of the reasons that the Phantom Menace is as big as it is. All these lies that are spread about the Phantom Menace constantly. On an everyday basis, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's by the media, whether it's from people at Lucasfilm, wherever it's from, the lies are constant. And if there's anyone that has spent 10 minutes in the community with any sort of actual good intentions to see what it's all about, you would understand that. But you don't. You want this narrative. This is the narrative you want to have, and this is the one you're pushing on all of us. This is the guy they have interviewing J.J. Abrams about toxic trolls, right? So that is why I think that it's important. So he goes on to say, yet somehow in 2018, simply including women and actors of color in Star Wars as pushing a political agenda, that's absolutely not true, and you effing know that. You're either lying or you're ignorant as hell, Matt Martin. And then a lie about Kelly Marie Tran being bullied off social media by fans, which is not true. He even quotes her. He even quotes Kelly Marie Tran. I had been brainwashed into believing my existence was limited to the boundaries of another person's approval. I had been tricked into thinking my body was not my own, that I was beautiful only if someone else believed it, regardless of my own opinions. Now, here's the important part. I don't know how they use this every time. I have been told and retold this by everyone. By the media, by Hollywood, by companies that profited from my insecurities, manipulating me so I would buy their clothes, makeup, shoes in order to fill a void that was perpetrated by them in the first place. Not a single time there to see she mentioned fans or social media at all. Man, how these people keep missing the ball so badly. But yeah, here's a thing. Through this entire article, he calls us racist and bigots. Absolutely disgusting. So this guy is then going to be interviewing J.J. Abrams. So we'll switch back to that. Matt Miller. I will not forget that name, Matt Miller. He talks about Knights Rent. He talks about Rian Johnson. All those things are funny to talk about. But here, this question. Over the last couple years since TLJ came out, I've been writing a lot about the response to this movie and some of the toxic fandom around Star Wars. There are some fans who take issue with filmmaking, others who take issue with some of the more progressive themes. I'm curious, how do you watch the response to Star Wars movies and change the modern era compared to maybe the prequel series or how the fans originally responded to them? J.J. Abrams. I think the bigger question is, how has everything changed? The reaction to Star Wars, the increased attacks, the increased negativity, the Fandom Menace, as they call it. And there it is. Man, it sounds so good. I know I can't hear it coming out of J.J. Abrams' mouth, but I can just imagine it. And it's glorious. The fact that he said it, the fact that he knows, man, that's gotta hurt some people. Some people gotta be so butthurt right now. That's not unique to Star Wars, obviously. And I think we live in a time where if you're not being divisive, if you're not creating something that's aversive clickbait, I think he means clickbait. I don't think it's supposed to be clickbait. I've never heard that before, but maybe I'm just not up with the internet lingo or the YouTube lingo. Sometimes you don't feel quite like you've been playing the game. I've always loved Star Wars because it's got a huge heart. Did I always believe and agree with every single thing that happened in every movie, whether it's from the prequels or the OT? No. But do I love Star Wars? Yes. You could say the same about every single person. There's no person that loves every single moment of every Star Wars movie. There's people that have issues with a lot of it. Right? I have all these books behind me explaining the universe. Do you think I love every single novel? No, of course not. But it is Star Wars. There are certain things I love about it, yes. So for me, and I hope, and I'm sure naively, we can return to a time where we give things a bit more latitude. We don't have to agree with every single thing to love something. I don't know anyone who has a spouse or a partner or any family member or any friend who loves, agrees with every single thing a person is or does. Of course, literally that every single person is like that in the world. You're not saying anything. We have to return, I think, to nuance and acceptance. And so I feel like, as a Star Wars fan, Do I love every single thing about each of the movies? No. But do I love Star Wars? Hell yes, I do. I mean, oh, it is just so ridiculous. JJ, we all love Star Wars. That shouldn't be a shock. If we didn't love it, we wouldn't be so damn passionate about it, bro. Like, that is why we're so upset about some of the things that have happened. I have been ringing this bell, not on YouTube, but I've been ringing this bell since 2015 when your movie, The Force Awakens, came out, and I saw it for what it was, a shell and a house of cards that was ready to crumble down. And that's exactly what happened. You didn't give us anything with that movie. No character development, no world building. It was all about practical effects and member berries. The mystery box of Snoke. That's all it was, JJ. And I'm horrified that you're going to go to DC and do more things to screw with characters I love over there. That'll be really exciting. I'm sure it'll all be the fans' fault too. I'm sure it'll all be the fans' fault then, just because they don't just love it. They don't just accept it and shove it in their mouth because, hey guys, it's DC. You just love DC, right? The biggest, I cannot believe that he said the words Fandom Menace. I really didn't think that we would ever hear that from one of these top execs like that. The freaking director of Episode 9, the director of Force Awakens. J.J. Abrams just said Fandom Menace. And it goes to show you that we have had an impact. Despite what people like Matt Martin and other people in the media, other people on YouTube, other people in Lucasfilm have said, you know, we've heard it before that they knew who we were. We had never got confirmation of it like this. And we did. So it was really nice. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you think of JJ saying, everyone should just accept it. Just go back to loving it. You can't agree with everything, right? Of course you don't agree with everything. But what we don't like is when we point out something being called racist, misogynist, sexist by Lucasfilm and by the media and by other YouTubers. Other members of the little organization that wants to get on Disney's good side. Just like people like Matt Miller. Matt Miller wrote that about fans. Matt Miller wrote all that garbage lying about Star Wars fans. The Fandom Menace lying about Star Wars fans. Yet who gets to interview J.J. Abrams? Matt effing Miller. So that should tell you a lot. But what do you guys think? I know you've probably watched a million videos on it, and mine's not the first because it's coming out a little later in the day. But I had other stuff I needed to get out first that I owed people. So hopefully I brought a little different perspective by talking about Matt Miller a little bit. But let me know what you guys think about J.J. Abrams saying the name. Let me know what you think about Matt Miller and his absolutely disgusting attacks on the Fandom Menace that have been ongoing. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video all around, ring that bell for notifications. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.